We are not LinkedIn.
We are not LinkedIn.
We are,
thank God,
decidedly not LinkedIn.
Decidedly not LinkedIn, which makes it a little confusing, but we are linked out. But we're tuned in.
We're tuned in, and somebody sent me a message this week. This is different.
Right
no, this is different.
Oh, okay.
Somebody sent me a message that just reminded me that they want to make a thing. They want to coin LinkedIn isn't like linked to anything, or like it doesn't link to anything. Maybe I'm saying it wrong. Okay, I'll look again. But
circle back.
I'll circle back. No, we're not circling back this week.
No, this week we're circling. We're circling forward. We're straight lining.
Yeah.
We got to do our intro. Welcome to Linked Out. Welcome to Linked Out, the podcast that won't help you get a job, but will make you feel better about not having one. I'm Brit. Who are you?
Hey, Brit. I'm Sydney. Hey, everybody.
If this week was a rejection email, what would the subject line be? Mine would be delusional hope. Mine would be like, that's the subject line.
No, yours is like...
realistic expectations.
Yeah, realistic expectations. I feel good things are hopefully coming your way. Well, I feel like that's more of a fortune cookie type of thing. But if this week was a fortune cookie, yours would be like cautiously optimistic.
Cautiously optimistic, which I always am. But sometimes the cautiously, I have a really big problem with the cautiously part, because I'll either like, no matter how many shitty rejection emails I get, sometimes if I get like a little traction, I'll start like thinking about, okay, and so when I get this job, I will.
Oh, yeah, of course. How could you not?
But then sometimes like, the line walking is really hard, because sometimes I'll just be like, well, I definitely didn't get it. And I don't really know how to be cautiously optimistic. I either like am counting my chickens before they hatch, or fucking not even going into the hen house.
Yeah.
Is that a metaphor?
I mean, I get it. I get the metaphor. It's not one I've heard before, but you just invented it, or you took it to the next.
I tacked on an ism.
I get that though, because I feel like I do. I mean, I can't help but do the same, right? I mean, you're just so eager to not be in the situation that you're in anymore. You can't help but be like picturing yourself in a different situation, which is that of having a job and being able to afford things that you can afford when you have a job, and do things you can do when you have a job, or whatever. Just like basic like life things. You can't help but like fantasize about those, which is that's hard not bleak. To. I mean,
it's bleak, because then it's
really, like we're fantasizing about just like normal life,
just regular life.
Nothing
like,
even crazy.
I definitely took for granted, like having a job before I got, before I didn't have one. It was just kind of like, but I think that like coming out of this, I will be so much more grateful to have a job in this climate. If I had a job the whole year, then I probably would just not even think about it, because I would just expect to have a job. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I kind of I thought of like my my subject line.
Okay, let us have it. Fire off.
We're just and then it might be kind of a corporate thing too, but jargon thing. But we're just at the tip of the iceberg here.
The tip of the iceberg.
I've realized
synergy.
Over this past week, since we launched last week officially, I've realized, because a lot of people have come out of the woodwork. Luckily, like I'm happy that they have, to point me towards like other resources and other people who are talking about these things and other platforms and stuff like that, I've realized like that what we're talking about is really like just the tip of this iceberg of the like shitstorm that has been brewing for the past few years and is now like kind of become a raging, I don't know, tsunami, I guess. But so yeah. I know that
Tip of the iceberg.
That wasn't particularly uplifting either, but
we're realists. We're being realistic.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the more longer we do this podcast, the more kind of like stuff we uncover about.
The more I know, the less I wish I knew.
Right.
The more I wish I didn't know.
It's kind of good to like, you know, not senselessly be applying to jobs on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
because
it is.
You're not going to get a job that way. So it's like,
it's better that
good to not waste your time doing that because that is exhausting and annoying.
Yeah.
And
it will be extremely frustrating because you're really not going to ever see any success with that. And again, as you all know, or if this is your first time listening, you're not going to get any advice from us necessarily, but what we can tell you is you're not going to find your next job through LinkedIn. Like I feel like I can almost say that with certainty.
Yeah, well, I can definitely 100%, not even almost. I can say it.
I know, but there's one. I feel. Remember, we need to do a poll again, and I want to do another poll. I guess maybe we'll do it on your LinkedIn this time because I just didn't get that many votes last time. But who's actually gotten a job off of LinkedIn? We want to know because that was the question that we wanted to ask. And one person said that they had. So, I mean, not one person, more than one person.
I definitely just don't believe them.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know. I need to know.
But here's the thing.
Details.
Well, okay. But also I'm realizing too that like the time frame is important. So, like, have you ever gotten a job off of LinkedIn or have you gotten a job off of LinkedIn in the past 2 years? Because I don't think anyone has in the past 2 years. And then maybe before that, in a different version of LinkedIn where recruiters were actually coming to you instead of you trying to find them and begging for jobs and this, that, and the third. Maybe people did actually get jobs through LinkedIn, I think. It was a different time.
And, like, before it was so congested and convoluted with, like, you know, before it got sold to that other conglomerate, I think like it was a smaller platform. Probably like most things start, you know, most companies start off a certain way and then they turn into something else because of capitalism, because of the capitalism wolf.
Yes. This is actually potentially a good segue to talk about this. I just want to touch on this because I'm still very much, like I said, at the tip of the iceberg and I'm learning, but someone who listened to the show, his name is Tom. He told me about this guy.
Brad?
No, Tom. His name is Tom. He told me about this guy, Ed Zitron. I think I'm saying his last name right. It's spelled like citron, but with a Z. And he has this like Substack. He has his own, I guess, newsletter, and it's called Where's Your Ed At? And because his name is Ed. Anyway, and he wrote this whole long thing about the rot economy. So I've been reading about this, which is crazy. It's going to blow your mind. If you've never heard about the rot economy, I mean, do yourself a favor and just Google that, and if you're interested, you'll read about it. But I'm not going to try and sum up his whole thing because he's like super, super smart guy. But basically all these companies are just like the only metric that they are concerned with is growth. And so they'll do anything to make it appear as though the company is growing. And that's like true across the board. And it doesn't matter whether they're losing billions, it doesn't matter whether they're firing tens of thousands of people year after year. It doesn't matter if it's sustainable. It doesn't matter if it's profitable. If it appears to be growing, then that's the only like metric that they're concerned with, because to your point, capitalism.
Capitalism wolf.
So it's very interesting. But yeah, I was saying before we started recording today that if the trajectory of this season is just me getting more and more radicalized, like, but you know, like I said, the more you know, sometimes the like more you wish you didn't know. But I mean, it is interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And like if you're thinking about that, like you said, as far as like jobs that you're applying to,
yeah,
companies, then it's even more bleak. But at least you know that like sometimes, most of the time, you're not just not getting a job because you're not qualified. You're not getting a job, or even because there's hundreds of applicants, which there are, but there's not only hundreds of applicants for like a job that doesn't exist, that they're just making you think exists so that they can look like they're doing better than they are.
Yeah. I'm just realizing that like what our little thing is just a symptom of like a way bigger problem. And I'm never like I maybe regret like never learning about like economics or anything like that in my life, but listen, you know,
We're learning about it now.
We're learning about it now, and so watch out. I'm about to be really obnoxious.
Econ for our late stage capitalism.
Yeah. Don't ask me about crypto. No, but literally don't. I don't understand.
Definitely don't ask me about meme coin unless you want to talk about Haktua.
Ask Brit about that kind of stuff. She's smart. She knows about that kind of stuff.
I'm not. It has nothing to do with being smart. It just has to do with like content consumption.
Yeah.
Because of my lack of working. I have more time. I have more time for scrolling.
We're scrolling the internet. We're scrolling. I mean, so this guy, yeah, Tom told me about this guy, and then another guy sent us our first email, our first linked out pod email. His name is Brad, which
is so exciting because we don't have any mutual connections with him on any of the platforms. So like we don't know how he found the podcast, but we're so happy that he did, and that's kind of cool that somebody we don't know listened to the podcast. Is like an exciting moment for us.
Yeah, and you never forget your first.
Never forget your first email.
You never forget your first email. I gotta give Brad credit for that joke. So he told me about this other this other subreddit that I'd never heard of, and it's called LinkedIn Lunatics. And I've just been really loving it. It's a lot more like recruiting hell is obviously like pretty specific to like people looking for jobs. LinkedIn Lunatics is just like a lot of it is still obviously related to people trying to get jobs, but it's also just like stupid shit people see on LinkedIn. So it's a lot more memey, but it's meme-ish, but it's really funny. It's entertaining. Meme.
Meme-ish.
Am I saying that right?
I don't know. Am I pronouncing this right? Meme-ish.
So I've been enjoying that. And I sent Brittany one today that was really funny, I thought. That basically this guy posted, this is boring, but it makes me $400,000 plus a month at 90% margins. Copywriting. It's helped me generate over 25 million in sales across my business journey. But not many people know how to use it to its full advantage.
Not many.
That's why I put together a 43-minute master class where I go over, and then just the first one, some other copywriter commented, "Why are you selling master classes if you make $400K a month already?" I mean, clearly that...
$400K a month. Like, do you want to just be a little more realistic with your numbers, sir?
Yeah, not even Sutton is making $400K a month. Actually, she probably is. But
no, she's making 300.
she knows she's guaranteed that. That's if she doesn't do anything. That's just her alimony, right? Then she gets whatever on top of that. She gets paid for housewives appearances and shit like that too.
That's true.
She has a store. Anyway, it was just really funny. I liked that. That was like not where I saw that going, because you see people like pitching their like business coaching, life coaching, things like that. But this guy saying he makes $400,000 a month copywriting. No, you don't. You literally don't.
You don't.
You actually don't. You can't.
No
one has ever made that.
No.
That much money copywriting.
The CEOs that get shot don't even make that much a month. So
right. Yeah, that's true.
So I'm sorry. What do you think you were doing, sir?
Yeah. Okay.
You're making that, but was he saying that he said he makes $400K a month, and then he said he generates 25 million in sales. So is that what he said?
Yeah.
So like, that's so crazy too. Like, as a copywriter, you think you know how many sales you generate. Like, that's such a different tier of the situation. Like, you're like, I'm writing copy for literally anything. They don't tell you, oh, you know how many sales your copy specifically generated last.
That's true. I don't even know how you'd get that.
No, it would just be like a thing where
you can just make it up. I mean, this guy's clearly lying, so it doesn't.
Right,
really...
he's obviously lying, but like he needs to lie better, because like that's stupid. And say you made $30,000 a month, I would just I'd believe you a little more, even though you're still lying.
Yeah, even though
but like
lying.
and then you don't have to talk about your 25 million in sales. They don't even do that when like, if you are like working on a specific product as a copywriter, and that product. They might be like, oh, that product sold this much as a whole. Your copywriting, they're not like, thanks to our copywriter, we've generated all these sales. It's like, no, there's a whole
one
team.
person. Yeah,
there's like a marketing department. Like you could say, thanks to the team, we've done it. But like, I don't know, maybe even they usually don't do that though. But anyway. I'd like to have that douche on the pod.
Me too.
See what he says. Well, we should get him on and say.
I mean, his name is on here. I'll look him up and see if he wants.
We should get him on and say.
He might not after we called him a douche.
Shit, bleep that. Okay. Should we trick him and be like?
Yeah, like be like, come pitch your masterclass on our podcast. He'll be like. No.
We'll get him on before this ep comes out.
Yeah.
This is like the 9th episode or something.
Right.
So like he won't have heard this. He'll
have egg on his face.
Let's get that douche on the pod. Hey, how do you make he'll think he's doing some free promotion for his masterclass, and then we'll hit him with the hard-hitting questions.
Hit him with the
old bait and switch. The old bait and switch.
I wasn't going to do another one from this, but I just have to, because this one is actually, I think, could be a good segue into the next thing we want to talk about. But this is an angry recruiter on here that posted that they had a candidate they were having a conversation with about a job, but recruiters, they don't tell you necessarily what the company is if they're not, if they don't work directly for the company, if they're just a recruiter, third party, whatever. So the candidate responded that they figured out who the company was from the ad, and they decided to apply directly to the company instead of going through the recruiter. And the recruiter said, "Is this serious? You took the details from my message and applied directly?" And the candidate said yes. And then this person commented, "My mind is blown by this. I get that some recruiters have a bad name, but deliberately cutting out the recruiter who has approached you about a job you didn't know about is, I guess, top level shithousery, in my opinion." That's what they wrote. So I think
shithousery.
This person is British, because then they said #muggy behavior, which I love calling people muggy. But anyway, I just wanted to see what you thought about that. Like, is it, do we agree that it's fucked up for a candidate if you are approached by a recruiter and you figure out who the job is for, if you just go directly to the company and say, fuck, we don't need
Yeah.
you in the recruiter. Do you think that's good? What do you
Yes.
think about that? I think it's fine too, obviously.
I think that's better because like it's a third
Sorry
party
to the recruiter,
It's a
but-
third party recruiter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I don't know. Do you know how many recruiters?
I guess I would say don't be shitty to candidates if you don't want candidates to be shitty to you.
Exactly.
You know?
I've been ghosted by so many recruiters
Yeah.
and I've filled out so much. I've like filled out so much online paperwork and like done like 4 recruiters and like I never hear anything from them, or they'll be like, "Oh, do you know, they'll send me a job and I'll be like, "Yes, I'm interested. Like, what's the salary?" And then I'll never hear from that. Like so many. So like I really just don't think it's shitty. Maybe if they were better at their jobs,
Yeah.
like then or if I had been working, this recruiter I'm about to describe does not exist, but if I was working with a recruiter who was like very on top of their shit and who would send me jobs and I would apply and then would like specifically email me back and tell me why I didn't get the job or like exactly what's going on and then send me another job, like then I wouldn't screw them over.
For sure. Like I
Or even if they would just respond to an email I sent them wondering what happened to my portfolio and resume that they sent to this specific company that they called me and spent 15 minutes on the phone with me giving me the job description of, you know, and then they just never, like, you know what I mean? If they were to get back, respond to my email and say,
if they were to touch base,
circle back.
if they were to get their ducks in a row,
then not
if they
even
were to move the needle. Okay, I'm
this
gonna stop.
isn't even ducks in a. This isn't even moving the needle. This is like I'm reaching out to them saying, "Do you have info on the thing that you just spent time with me on?" And then they just don't respond. If they were just like, "Oh yeah, they did hire," like just give me the fucking monicum of like, you know, just like any kind of like acknowledgement. Like, sorry, that job's been filled. You don't even have to tell me. Just, I don't know, respond to my email and maybe you wouldn't get screwed over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I agree.
Little rant there.
Well deserved.
I have a lot of strong feelings, I told you.
I mean, it's just one of those things. It's like, oh, well, that's just too bad, you know? Like, you are a middleman ultimately. Like, if the person is like...
You're bad at your job.
Yeah, and in a lot of cases, not very good at your job. I mean, but especially...
A lot of cases.
All of the cases.
I've never met a good recruiter.
Well, if you're a good recruiter, email us. Not because we want a job. Obviously, we know you're not going to give us one after all this, but just email us so we can talk to you about.
Yeah, we kind of just want to see where your head's at. Maybe if we had an insight into your perspective on like how you source potential candidates and why you don't follow up with them afterwards.
I would just think too. I've never fully understood this too. I would love to talk to a recruiter, but if you're getting paid off of getting someone a job, like I assume that's how most recruiters make money. Like, is not in your best interest to get someone a job? Like, how are you? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so what is I just would assume there would be more incentive for them to like.
I do have like, I mean, yeah, that definitely. But if you're working for, I think it's the same with like independent recruiters and if you're like working for a recruiting agency because they both do that shit. But like I definitely I don't mind calling out the name of this specific recruiting company because like I just don't. But 24/7
Oh yeah.
24/7 talent.
Yeah.
It's like supposedly like a creative recruiting company and I've worked with them. I've gotten unwanted emails from them my whole career. Like when I stopped working at my first job and was trying to do like freelance stuff, I kind of like got in touch with them and I don't even know how. It was probably through LinkedIn, you know, in like 2019 or something, 2018. And thinking they're like a legit company because like I don't know how I don't know the horrors of recruiters yet.
Yeah, you were such a spring chicken then.
Oh, sweet summer child. So, you know, I would be like working with them kind of, and they would be like sending me all of these jobs and I would read every job. And a lot of time I would just be getting like spammed with like emails of like jobs that were not even copywriting jobs. They were just like, and so like finally, and so I would, you know, send them emails back like I'm no longer looking, even though when I was. And then as like the years went on, I would still get emails from them unsubscribing and stuff. And they would always like pop up every couple of years. And like finally, you know, this last round of job searching, I applied to a couple, but then they just started sending me like $16 an hour copywriting jobs, and I like let them have it. Like I'll pull it up and read it sometime.
Yes, please.
But like I was just like, this is not helpful when I'm trying to look for jobs. You're sending me jobs in Orlando, Florida for $16 an hour. Please don't ever contact me again.
Lose my fucking number.
And then they called me on the phone and I didn't answer. And then they sent me an email that were like, I'm so sorry. A lot of times when you ask like what the salary is and if it's not listed, we just have so many, we get so many emails a day. We don't have time to respond to all of them. And I'm like, that's nice. Stop sending them to me. Like I also get a lot of emails and I'm very busy and I don't need one fucking more because I actually read my fucking emails because I'm looking for a job.
Oh my God.
But I'm just like, am I to believe that you're so busy? You're so busy firing off automated emails to candidates that you fucking can't respond to me with how much is the salary for that role. Like, and then because you have so many emails coming in and going out, like maybe you're understaffed. Maybe you should use that recruiting thing that you have going on to recruit more people for your talent agency.
Yes.
I'm so sorry. We just have so many emails coming in and going out. And like, well, I don't know how you have time to find people jobs even.
They don't. They're just emailing literally all day.
I was like, have you ever found, and then I was like, have you ever found someone a job? I don't think you have. I don't think you're moving to the next round. I've never moved to the next round. We've been talking for 7 years.
No way.
Yeah.
Not 7 years.
Yeah, 2018.
I guess, yeah. You're right.
I've never even spoken to someone on the phone from one of the jobs they were recruiting. So I just don't think it's real. I just think it's a fake company.
It might really be.
It might really be. I got to look into it more. Definitely.
God, yeah. We need to look into all the like major recruiting companies.
Don't even get me started on Solomon Page.
I know you have strong feelings about Solomon Page, but I don't. But I know there's another one here that people don't enjoy working with. I've heard bad things about. That's also like for creatives, but I don't know if they're just here. I think they're not worldwide. I think they're national or whatever. So, I guess kind of like a lot of things maybe now more so are because of all the remote work and stuff. Although that's kind of going away now too. But yeah, I mean, they
gotta keep. You know how
it's not.
Do you know how much happier people are when they can like work from home and like hang out with their kids and like just do the actual work and just get that.
You think they
done.
Want you to be happy?
No, I know. That's why. That's why we're moving out of remote, even though it's more productive. Right. But it's bad for capitalism because people are less tired when they can sleep in and not have to commute and just start work.
Yeah, they don't have to drive
right when or get ready. Yeah, you just like wake up. You start work. You don't have to spend your money on like lunch at work. You can just make something in your house.
Yeah.
And you don't have to say hello to Deb from accounting every time you come in and talk to her about her trucker hat collection. Like you can just start doing your job and finish your job, have your meetings, and then go on with your day. They don't want that. They fucking hate that.
Absolutely not. And also too, I mean, now too, I think even when I see remote on something, that almost feels like a red flag in sort of a scammy way, because I think that that's how a lot of these like fake jobs and stuff, well, not just the fake jobs, but the ones that are like job scams are like, oh, it's there a lot of time they that's how they get people, because they're looking for like remote work. So it's just, yeah, it's just another way that they hook people who,
Because remote work means you can pull from anywhere.
Right. And it appeals to people who are like, look like, I mean, not just, okay, we like remote work for like the conveniences and stuff, but think about if you were somebody with like a disability or something, like having remote work for that is like, it's accommodating for somebody with a disability. Like I was watching
Game changer.
Yeah. So it's like, it's really fucked up because, yeah, I mean, like these scam companies are preying on people who are, you know, look desperate for work in the first place, but also a lot of times people that are like have disabilities and can't like work remote jobs, like need to do things that are like sitting at home and using like, you know, their computer or whatever. So it's fucked up. And on so many levels.
Yeah, it really is.
But I did see something really funny and I sent it to you and you really liked it too. And it's on, this is just straight off of LinkedIn. So I don't even know how I found this person on here.
Oh,
I
do love this.
Yeah, I love to now, I think, because I'm like using LinkedIn in such a different way than how I was initially using it. AKA, I don't use it to find jobs. I use it to find content. Now I'm seeing so many different things and so many different people that I don't know. And so I don't really want LinkedIn to find that out, because I feel like they're going to like, you know, fuck with my algorithm. I don't know. But I like that I'm seeing people all over the place and different things. But this person wrote the funniest fucking fake email. And her name is Brit. Brett, and she just has her job as just, you know how you have to have like your job title under your name on LinkedIn? Hers is just a question mark. So we love Brett.
We love it. We love you.
And she wrote this LinkedIn post that is, honestly, do you think I should just read the whole thing? It's so fucking funny. Okay. She said, "Is this too condescending or not condescending enough? Dear Brand, hey, you probably don't remember me. I interviewed for the senior copywriter position at Brand a few months ago. I obviously did not get the job. I thought it was kind of weird that I didn't even get a second interview, considering I had a slam dunk referral, or so I thought. But seeing that the job post is still up 6 months later made some things make sense. It wasn't a real job. You got me. Congrats on a dupe well done." That's not why I'm reaching out, though. And then I'm just going to skip through this part a little bit. She said she's writing an article for Best Secret Santa Gifts, and she went to their product page. And she said, I went to grab a link and some product info, and I was confused. The copy wasn't just bad, it was bizarre. There was no information about the product whatsoever. Function completely sacrificed for fun, but like in a gauche and cringy way. It was like it was written by an AI that was only trained on memes from 2014. I just want to know which marketing executive saw the first draft and was like, can we make it more heckin' doggo cool beans? You know what I mean? And then saw this and was like, yep, yeah, this is it. Then she said she was able to find it way below the fold. But, you know, the customers, you only have 3 to 5 seconds to tell the customer what they need to know before they dip. And so I'm not trying to be a curmudgeon. You're allowed to have fun copy. In fact, it's best if you do. I had some great examples of both fun and functional copy in my portfolio, but you can't see it. Sorry. I couldn't afford to renew my website subscription. But this isn't about me feeling sorry for myself, which I'm quite sick of. It's about your product page and how it's kind of bad. I hope this was helpful. Your consultation fee is $500. Just kidding. This is on the house. Take care, you crazy dudes. And then she says, I don't know. I think it's missing something. So I'm obsessed with her. I want to be friends with her. Brit, if you hear this, please
come on the pod.
At least email us and let us know, because we're your biggest fans now.
Yeah, we really are. That really sealed the deal.
It really did. But I just love that that she's just like, truly I do not give a fuck, and that's the kind of energy that that's the
kind of energy
looking for,
that we're looking for, because LinkedIn doesn't matter.
No, it's the Twilight Zone.
It's the Twilight Zone. Everybody's just jerking each other off on a platform.
Yeah.
Businesses are just jerking each other off while they're paying for it. They're paying, their subscription is so expensive. We've talked about this before, but like they're paying $800 a month sometimes.
Yep.
And that's crazy. So that's the thing. And I've said this before, but like that's the thing that LinkedIn does not care about getting people jobs, because they make more money off of people not having jobs, and they make more money off of, businesses subscriptions. They don't care about our premium subscription. That's like,
no,
you know
obviously.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Which you definitely won't get a job having, because, do I really need to see who looked at my profile? I don't give a fuck. I don't care who looked at my profile. Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
Like, get over it.
And I can't even see those anyways. Mine are always just blurred circles. It doesn't even say. Oh,
but if you have premium.
Right. Sorry,
but sometimes they'll tease you with like a couple. They'll be like, this person and 9 others looked. If you want to see the other 7, it's like, no, I don't care.
I don't care.
Looking at my profile.
No, I don't care unless someone is gonna rock up on my profile and with a job offer in hand. I truly don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
like
nobody. If somebody looked at my profile and they're not direct messaging me on LinkedIn about a job that they have, then I truly don't care.
And can I say something else too? I don't know if you use LinkedIn for this purpose, but sometimes I have like a weird dream about someone who I haven't thought about in a long time, like someone I went to high school with, or like an ex-boyfriend or something like that, and I'm really curious what they're doing for work now. So I have to go on LinkedIn and look.
Yeah.
And that's I'm looking up there, and I hope that they don't have premium, so they can't see that it's me who's just wondering about them, 15, 20 years later, whatever the case is, just wondering what they do for work.
Yeah, then you just go.
That's because that's what I'm using it for.
Yeah, or sometimes I go on there to like look up like people's boyfriends, like not people I know, but like like Z-list celebrities, or like the hot chain smoker, the hot one from the band The Chainsmokers is like, he was like doing all of these like posts on LinkedIn like a couple years ago, and I thought it was really funny. Like he's trying to be like a motivational like LinkedIn influencer, and I'm like, I wonder. And then I'm like looking at his connections and like, like who do I know? And then I'm just looking at these random people's profiles. And I'm like, this is that one person's boyfriend. I got it. And then it's like, yeah, that's what LinkedIn's for. It's another form of creeping on people's social media.
Yeah.
But in a different way, because sometimes people have LinkedIns that don't have Instagrams.
That's true. Like you, for example.
Yeah, like me. Exactly like me. I have an Instagram. I just don't like to look at it.
You're not allowed on Instagram because you have, I don't know. You're just not for some reason. But anyway.
I'm allowed on there. I can go on there. I'll go on there right now.
You might have to back up from your mic a little bit. You're like, look at your, when
Well,
you.
I was very passionate about being able to go.
Okay, good. No, keep that passion
on Instagram.
I want you to
yelling right into the microphone.
I think your audio might just get distorted. Don't let the passion distort your audio.
Don't let it.
She's moving it closer to her, which is crazy.
Because I'm backing up.
She's like, it's not loud enough. Okay.
You guys.
That just reminded me of something else, though, that I've...
loud. Okay, what did it remind you of?
So there was... I reached out to this page that I found out about, that they have a LinkedIn page, but they're called Ghosted with 2 Ds. Ghosted, 2 Ds.
Did.
Yeah, Ghosted did.
Okay.
And their whole thing is they're ghosted2ds.com. And their whole thing is they want to get people's stories of getting ghosted by employers, like after job applications and stuff like that. That's like their whole thing. So they collect people's stories, and I don't know, I think they might have like a newsletter or something too that they send out. But I just know that I think they're trying to spread awareness, but I also think they're trying to like maybe put an end to the ghosting practice.
Right.
But anyway, I asked them to post.
It's too big.
Yeah.
It'll never be over.
No, I don't know. And it's also like it's growing too. So I don't know. I asked them if they would shout out the podcast, and they did, which I super appreciate. And I also said we would shout out Ghosted, which is this me doing that right now. And if you've ever been ghosted, which who amongst us hasn't, and you want to like share your story, they're reporting the companies that ghosted you. So it's like, it's holding them accountable. That's like what they're trying to do. So check them out if that's something that, if you're interested in retribution, I guess.
Well, tell us. I want to hear your story too. I want to read it on.
No, we want to hear your story. Yeah, tell us too. But also, like, we're not going to hold the companies accountable. We're just going to talk shit about them. They might actually do something.
Tell us first.
Yeah,
but tell them.
But they might actually do something. Whereas we're just going to laugh and cry and whatever, commiserate. We don't know what power we might wield yet. That's the other exciting thing about this. Our power is growing. Our power is latent, but it's growing.
That's why we can. Well, I mean, it's kind of nice as like why we can drop names sometimes, because we don't really matter at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of freeing, isn't it?
Yeah. So, I mean, that's why the amount of shit we talk, we try to just like, we keep like very few things anonymous on this pod. So like we definitely are like naming names and slandering, besmirching.
We're not we haven't said any of the like, I don't think we've said any of the names of anyone we haven't named anyone or the companies that have like fucked us, I don't think. Not directly, but we will if you guys want us to. Let us know.
We will.
Or like we
ask us.
Yeah, ask us, and we'll
name them.
Just email us and we'll tell you. Like we're open books, really. And I'm speaking for myself. I think Brittany would too. But
I definitely would. I will.
Depending on the day you catch her on. I don't know. Some days she's a little bit more conservative, but today I can tell she's feeling honest. So
I'm so conservative, not politically. Let's not get confused.
Just because I know, we talked about this, but it's funny to think about, like, you're like, I don't tell recruiters, any details about myself or whatever and stuff. But if you listen to our podcast, like, you'll know everything that there is to know pretty much.
I don't tell, well, see, I tell everybody else everything, but I don't tell people that I work for or that I'm trying to get jobs with anything.
Yeah.
So, but if you catch me outside, how about that? I'll tell you everything.
Oh my God. Does she live in Atlanta still? She did.
I don't know.
Catch me outside. Bad baby.
Bad baby.
Gucci flip flops. I love Bad Baby. What an icon. Yeah. Catch me outside. You'll get the full story though. Is what.
Yeah, but if I'm in a phone call, of a Zoom call in office, I'm not telling you shit. You're not going to know I have a kid. You're not going to know you're going to know the state I grew up. You're not going to know shit about me. I'm a closed book in the office. A closed
book. You won't be able to penetrate any of her walls. She's a closed book. I'm just picturing you wearing, because Brittany has tattoos, I'm picturing you wearing like those
turtlenecks.
Yeah, turtlenecks and stuff. So like nobody can even ask you about your tattoos.
You don't even know. You're not gonna know.
I'm picturing you wearing like those like flesh colored.
I don't know anything about that.
She's just fully a different person.
I'm like, I take off like 2 days to go on vacation. I'm not telling anyone where I'm going.
Yeah.
How was your time off? Don't worry about how my time off was. What about that coffee?
That's a personal question. That's a personal question, and I prefer to keep my work life separate from my personal life.
You're not my family as much as you say, oh, we're a corporate family to try to trick people into staying after hours and like not trying to get jobs at other places that treat them better. You're not my family. So I'm not telling you anything.
Have you trauma bonded or just regular bonded with like a lot of your former coworkers though? Like, did you have like friendships with coworkers that were like that have like lasted beyond the job?
I have, yeah.
Yeah. That I think obviously in those cases like you
if you're
found
upper
people
management
you were,
though.
no, that's true. Yeah. And they always too, like even the times that I thought that I like broed out with my upper management, like they don't fucking care about me obviously anymore. You know what I mean? Like we're not actually, I am friends with a lot of people that I worked with previously and I'm on good terms with pretty much everyone, but I do think like it's a kind of a bummer. You just realize that like a lot of the friendships that you have in the office are actually pretty superficial.
Yeah,
Even if they feel less superficial, it's like, well, you'll see once you leave, you know, then you'll really see how deep it was.
But they can't help you is the thing. Like people that like creative, like we were talking about like creative directors that you thought were your homies.
Yeah.
Like they still can't even get you jobs half the time.
Yeah. That's,
you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's unfortunately true.
Which is crazy because you think like creative directors can like pick their team. It doesn't matter. Like if you're,
it used to be that way.
Right. But if they're at a, like they're in a corporate environment that is not hiring. Right. So like you can like ask them, they can even really like you and want you to work there, but literally it's not up to them at all. So like, you know, and I have like a surface level bro down that I like will have with like coworkers or creative directors. It's like very strategic, you know, it's like, we're going to go out, I'm going to talk about these very surface level things so that you think I'm kind of funny so that you keep me around in the job.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, don't show your cards because even if they seem like they're cool, they're usually not.
Right.
At the end of the day.
They're kind of cops.
they're narcs. They are.
Oh man. Yeah, I think that this kind of goes against what I'm about to say because while we love to pull from the internet and from LinkedIn and from other places, like examples that obviously are sometimes funny, but oftentimes just kind of like depressing. I think sometimes we do often try to weave in a little bit of some positivity too, if you want to say. And something I saw this week that, like I said, goes a little against what we were just saying, but made me, I felt the comment reached me at the perfect time because somebody was like, oh yeah, it was just this person on Recruiting Hell that was like, talking, their post is basically like, what the hell is going on? Like, what the actual fuck is going on with the job market right now? Like, blah, 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 like, can't find a job, whatever. And you know it's bad when boomers are even noticing and agreeing that the market is horrible. LOL. And then one of the comments was, I mean, there's a lot of comments on it, but it helped me. I think I needed to read it. That was like, shit, where is it now? I can't find it. Well, whatever. They basically were just like, don't try to get, don't waste your time trying to get a job through like any other way than just staying in touch with people, real people who you actually know, who actually have jobs at places. Anything outside of that is going to be a waste of your time. And that made me think of like, I'm not trying to like use anybody for a job, but we are, I have lots of friends that have jobs, and I have lots of former coworkers that I'm consider friends that have jobs, maybe not at the same places, but different places and stuff. And it's like that, even if for no other reason than for staying in touch with the people that you actually know, go that direction. Don't go like deeper and deeper into the internet and stranger waters and scammier territory. You know, talk to the people you actually know, like that you know in real life. So what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, I do think so. And I think that's like, yeah, a better place to start when you're on the outside, is like keeping in touch with people that you've worked with, definitely, than, like you said, going deeper and deeper into the internet.
Yeah. The internet's good for a lot of things. Like there is definitely a sense of community in this particular niche that we're sort of entering into, which is like people are fed up, like, you know, and there's a lot of people that know a lot more than I do about, you know, the macroeconomic factors that are causing the situation to be as bleak as it is. And so there's definitely a lot of people talking about that, and there's a lot of community around that. But I guess, you know, it's like, what's the action, you know, what's the goal from that? And it's like, it's good to keep your, you know, it's good to touch grass, like I always say. It's good to keep your feet on the ground too. And just remember that, you know, there's not everybody's a fake job. Not everything is a scam. Not every employer or every recruiter is going to ghost you. Well, that we don't know about, but maybe
let's not say things we don't mean.
Okay. You know, I can't, you're right. I guess I can't say that that's 100% true.
Every recruiter will ghost you.
We do have
in absolutes on this pod.
We do have a potential recruiter that is willing to do the pod. And so be looking forward to that episode, because he said he would.
Yeah, he said he would.
And we're maybe going to have to keep him
a recruiter
anonymous. That's okay. We'll do that. But we do plan to have him on, and I think that'll be very interesting.
Yeah, I think we're going to grill him. We're going to, and he's a friend. He's a friend of mine. Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod. For now.
But we are going to grill him. And I think he's a good dude. I think he'll be more than happy to answer questions. And I think he hasn't decided if he is going to be anonymous or not, but regardless, we are going to ask him the hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
We're going to let him have it.
Let us look at your LinkedIn premium.
Yeah, we're going to look
at the... Just want to see it.
We're going to look at his LinkedIn premium. It's hard to say.
Just let us
look at your LinkedIn premium. There we go. Yeah, we just want to see it. Just show us a little bit.
Just a little bit of it.
Come on. But yeah, because we are curious about like what makes it $800 a month. Like, what are you getting with this membership that is worth that? Because that is a lot of money, I think. Right?
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of money.
I mean, I think it's a lot of money too.
To spend on a service?
Yeah.
You know, like...
And one that's not real?
Yeah, I'm having trouble. I'm like... I canceled my Hulu because it went up to $9.99 a month.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, you're paying $800 a month? Get out of here.
But, you know, but like he's not, obviously.
Right, yes. But like, why is this company... I mean, I guess if the company that he works for is paying for it and like lots of people use it, that's, I guess, an expense, like a valid expense. But like individual recruiters are probably not using this, like independent recruiters.
I don't know. We could also ask one of those. We know one of those too.
We do, yeah.
We know one that's
We know.
No.
We know
I'm
one.
not going to say anything else.
I can't talk about it.
Can't talk about it.
Wow,
Wow, look at us clamming up.
We'll give it away. Well, see, we don't want to give too much away in case we end up talking to this person.
Yeah.
And if we don't, then whatever.
Also, you should know maybe I guess we do have some boundaries, right? What our boundaries
Look,
are.
we had a boundary.
We do have some boundaries. We're not going to unnecessarily throw anyone under the bus. You know what I mean? You have to screw us over, then we will throw you under the bus for sure.
Then we probably will.
Yeah. But if you haven't yet screwed us over, then you're safe.
Then for now.
For now.
Anyway.
Anyway,
recruiters, we're going to talk
what are you bringing to the table?
What are you bringing to the table? That was like, that actually, now that I'm talking about it, maybe that should be the subject line of my rejection email for the week is like, or one of our rejection emails is like, what are you bringing to the table? Because we were having this conversation about like, what are you bringing to the table? Like when you, and using this in the sense of looking for jobs or, just with everything that you're doing while unemployed is like when you think about each each facet of the job process, it's like, what are you bringing to the table? Are you like recruiter? What are you bringing to the table? You're not bringing anything to the table.
Yeah.
You're making me bring all this stuff to the table.
Right.
And I'm not getting anything for it.
Yeah. Your table is empty.
I'm cooking a whole dinner party for a bunch of douchebags I don't know.
Yeah.
What's
and
in
then
it
they
for me?
come and they say they've already eaten.
You already ate? I was in the kitchen all day.
Yeah.
Fuck you. Get out of here.
Yeah. Yeah. Damn.
Get out of here. That was a better metaphor.
It was, and I didn't even know it was going to be so apt when we started. It just got better and better. But that's what it is. That's what we're thinking about too. And I told you this week. We kind of are recording this episode a little earlier in the week than we normally do. So we have been talking recently, but I'm putting the lens of what do you bring to the table on everything now. Yeah. I mean, like I'm putting that lens on my friends' partners.
There you go. What do you bring to the table?
I want to make sure that everyone is bringing something to the table, and it has to be substantial. What you're bringing to the table cannot be, like you said, it can't just be a side. It can't just be rolls that you picked up on the way.
Did you just bring
you know what I mean?
A pack of Sweet and Low and saltine crackers that you just picked up at a diner you went to 2 days ago?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Go put that back in your car.
You better bring something that you cooked from scratch with love, okay? At least one thing.
Or at least from the Whole Foods hot bar,
Something quality.
Quality.
That's what we're looking for. And if it's skimpy, if the portions aren't enough, then I'm gonna call you on it.
Go get a bottle of wine that's over $30. Okay?
Increase the volume of what you're bringing to the table. Anyway, so
yeah, go. Think about it. Think about it. Just come into my house.
Yeah.
Anyway, So I think that's kind of like that. That's kind of like a newer. A newer subject line for us this week so far.
Hopefully that resonates with you guys too.
Yeah, think about it.
Think about it.
Even though
meditate on it.
I know that because I know that I feel this way.
Hold space with it.
But I know that I feel this way when I'm looking for jobs because it is a little bit you're telling people what they want to hear. And, I go through phases of being very, adamant about, talking to everybody that could potentially find me something, anything. And then sometimes I get fucking fed up because I talked to the 6th recruiter this week and applied for the 36th job on LinkedIn that week and like auto apply lightning round applications. And then I'm just like, you know what? Like, you don't have the salary on here. Fuck you. You're not like, you know, yeah. What are you bringing? I did all this shit. What are you going to bring? So, I mean, I think that like
very lopsided.
It's lopsided and it's not fair. And I'm like taking these copy tests and you're not even responding
right
about feedback for this thing I spent 2 hours doing. Like, go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah.
What are you bringing?
I guess you haven't heard back from you just sent it yesterday. So, or they just would have seen it yesterday. So we'll see. True. I'm sure the next time we talk, we'll have something we can unpack that more.
I'm never going to hear from them again.
No, you're going to hear from them.
And that's another thing that you do after you send an application or a copy test or a cover letter.
Say something.
Just pretend like it's into the void and you never expect. It's like when you loan a friend money, don't ever expect to get it back. Yeah. And if they pay you back, that's great. But like, and they should pay you back. But you know, you just have to like,
let it go
and
give it up.
Hope something happens, but like don't think about it. It's over, you know?
Yeah. Move on. I did just want to say
love quickly.
And light. Yeah, love and light. I did just want to say quickly, and I love that that's your mentality now too. I know that's your mentality when you talk to someone on the phone. You're like, well, I'll never ever talk to you again.
Suck it.
I wanted to say this over the weekend. I did get a chance to do a little networking on our behalf, and I just wanted to shout out the podcast Atlanta meetup group. I went, and Brittany was going to come, but I told her it was from 1 to 3 and she thought it started at 3, so she didn't come. Which is not surprising, but I was there and so it doesn't matter. But I met some cool people and it made me think about something, which is something that we should know more about given that we work in advertising. But we are going to have to start doing advertising in our podcast, obviously, at some point. But I wanted to pitch our services to the would-be advertisers because, like, I mean, who better to listen? If you're a brand and you don't have any copywriters, which you probably don't because you're not hiring. You don't have to because guess what? We are copywriters. So if you want us to advertise your product on our podcast, we can write you the whole ad ourselves. We can produce it and everything. So yeah, I don't know what brands I'm speaking to right now. Nothing's coming to mind, but like we did talk about Banana Republic one time. So if anyone at Banana Republic wants us to do an ad for them, we will.
LinkedIn, prove us wrong. And get us
We absolutely will not be doing a fucking ad for LinkedIn. You know that. You already know that. I mean, actually, there's a price, obviously. There's a price.
You know how we said you can't get jobs on your platform? Give us a job on your platform, and then we'll have been wrong.
We'll be wrong, yeah. And won't that be worth it for you? But like we basically end to end, we can do the advertising. So I think if anyone also wants to email us about that, anybody who's listening is like, hey, listen, I think you should do whatever. I could definitely use some advice. Brittany told me she was going to figure that out, but I'm not sure she is going to.
I already told you the information that I wrote down.
I know, but I need you to chew it up and regurgitate it to me in a way that okay. I need you to baby bird it to me.
Let me just make you a private infographic TikTok.
Yeah, do that.
I'll send it to you.
Speaking of TikTok, though, last thing maybe, I don't know. This isn't breaking news from us. Obviously, everyone knows this, but TikTok about to get fully banned?
Yes.
January 19th seems like the day. Which is crazy because we haven't even put up our first TikTok yet. So it's too late to take it. Is it too late to start?
No, it's not too late to start. I think we could still wrangle a few.
I'm going to be so depressed because what are we going to, like, I love TikTok.
I know. I was watching some people on TikTok scroll Instagram reels.
Amazing.
And they're so bad.
I mean, I guess it's just going to have to get
They're really
better.
Bad.
It's just going to have to get better. It's not like, so what TikTok isn't necessarily proprietary anymore because you can make videos like that on a number of different apps, but I guess it's just going to have to get better on other apps. And I mean, the problem is, though, the thing about TikTok that, and you know this and I know this, is like that there's a lot less control over the content in the way that you're able to discover it versus things that are owned by Meta.
Right.
There's a lot more money at play, and those things, those control sort of the way that you see things because it's dollar bills, y'all.
And
TikTok doesn't necessarily have that problem, so
they're like,
that makes it,
like the government
more fun.
Is like mostly like it's about how much stuff we discover on that app, like that we wouldn't know about, like that they don't want us to know. Like there's like little groups forming in like community, and it's a coup. We're all like, they're like, boycott this corporation. Everybody's like, you know what I mean? And people are like, oh yeah, I didn't realize that corporation was so shitty. It's like an independent, like you can get your information from like different people that you like, and it's not just like an approved media source.
Right.
And so like you're getting like people that are like doing like specific or like you're getting people telling us specific things that happen to them, like
But it's really interesting because like obviously, and I don't want to like I said, I know this isn't like breaking coming from us necessarily. People talk about this topic on a lot of other podcasts and stuff, obviously. Probably a lot more knowledgeably, but it's very interesting because it's like this is an attack, if you will, on the First Amendment, which people love to protect in this country. We love our First Amendment rights, but then when the First Amendment is saying when people are saying things that you don't like, then it's like, oh, you know what? Let's just get rid of the whole thing, because it's like that's what it is. It's like it's political, and then people don't like it.
Right.
Like that. I was listening to another podcast today, and it was something that's produced by New York Times, so I know the journalists are reputable, and they're talking about how basically Congress was like, when they passed this law, whatever it's fucking called, that they were like, oh, we just don't really like the political stuff that's on there. And it's like, okay, you don't like it? That's subjective. Well, also, who gives a fuck if you don't like it?
Also, they're like making the excuse that it's like because they don't want like China to have all of our like data and like, information, which is like the most valuable thing. But like the China only owns like 20% of it. The rest of the like conglomerate are like in America. Like it doesn't matter. It's like, this is stupid. That's like a dumb excuse.
Yeah.
And you just don't want people talking about stuff they're not supposed to talk about. You want to be able to like censor it more.
Yeah.
And the fact that like, and like they don't understand that like 170 million people are on that app, and like, millions of people are like make money off of that app.
Oh, I know.
And so like they're going to be out of work potentially, and like you're trying to like stimulate the economy,
right?
But like they want people to have those like 9-to-5 shitty fucking stupid jobs that like exhaust them. They don't want people to be able to like make their own content, be their own boss, work from home, and make money doing that, because like that's a type of financial freedom that they like don't want people to have.
Yeah.
But they don't realize that when they take this app away, people are going to be out of work, and the economy is going to suffer.
Yeah.
So like it's a double-edged sword for them. Like they think people are just going to go back into the workforce or go get a job at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And like, anyway, RIP TikTok. We hope that Neptune or Fanbase can, those are the other two apps.
Oh, okay.
They're talking about. Neptune is like woman owned. I'm like very interested in.
I knew you would know what's going on. What's coming next.
I haven't.
She's like, we're not going to have a void. We're going to slide something else into the void.
Slide something else in there. I will be testing both of these, and I'll come back and let you guys know like which one is most like TikTok.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about Neptune. Like I said, it is woman owned, and
love that. Out of the
they,
gate.
yeah. And so I'm hopeful about it. I don't think it's going to be out in time for, January 19th, but people are saying like Lemon8 is,
I've heard of
but
Lemonade.
that's also like owned by ByteDance, the same company that owns TikTok.
Oh, is it?
So like they don't,
They
the
might
government
get taken
won't,
down too, or
but it's not, it's like more Pinteresty than it
I know
is
that's what I was gonna
TikTok-y.
say. I thought it was like more similar to Pinterest,
And it
at
does
least.
have videos. They're just like harder to find in the platform. And so like, I think that, and it's nice because you can transfer your same followers and videos like over to it.
Oh, that is nice.
Without doing anything, which is nice. But I think that once the government knows it's owned by that company, they're going to try to shut that shit down too. But they're not going to immediately know about it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it'll take a little while.
I think the move for now, and I'm going to do more research on it, but the move for now is, Lemonade until Neptune gets off the ground, and I'm going to try out Fanbase and let you guys know.
Fan base sounds like OnlyFans, and I know it's not probably.
It's not.
But
It's not. It's not even sexy.
Okay. Well, you never know.
You never know.
And on that note,
Keep
it sexy.
Keep it sexy. I wouldn't have time to do all this social media research if I was employed. So,
Yeah. And I wouldn't have time to read all of the. Well, I'm still. Get ready for next week. Next week, everybody, hold your hats because
hold your hats.
I'm gonna be rearing to go once I finish reading the Communist Manifesto. Just kidding. I'm not reading that, but I am reading a lot of stuff. I'm getting radical.
She's getting radical.
I figure, why not? I've done the full thing now. I was trad wifing at the beginning. Now I'm going radical. I'm going through a lot.
She's going through a lot, and she wouldn't have time to go through any of this. If
No,
she
I
was
wouldn't.
employed.
I wouldn't have time to think about who I want to be if I was employed. And so thank God I'm not.
Thank God. And on that note, thank you for listening.
Thank God I'm not employed.
Thank God we're not employed. We don't want your fucking jobs. You can keep them. Suck it. Unless there's someone that wants to hire me, then I'm available Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Goodbye.
Immediately. Pacific time, Central time.
Pacific time, Central time, Hawaii time, overseas time. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. If you enjoyed today's podcast, please give us a 5-star review. Email us at linkedoutpod@gmail.com and follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Blue Sky at linkedoutpod. Your support means everything, and we fucking love you. Mwah. That was cute.
Bye, bestie.